Uh, Very good evening, everyone. I think this is a coup of sorts. I can't remember the last time Meenakshi has actually graced any of these sessions. She's one of the most feisty, the brightest, and one of the most fearless people I have met. And I'm hoping that this is going to be complete gloves off and a very, very candid and provocative session. We are going to be talking about this big issue called the media auditors, who play a pretty big life in the life of media agencies, especially when it comes to pitches. She's probably started that kind of business in India many years back before she sold it. So before I really get into and start asking her questions, she has a few thoughts of her own that she wants to share. She'll start with that, and then we'll get into the deep end.
Good evening, everyone. It's really lovely to be here. And as Vikram said, when he invited me to speak at this, my first reaction was no, because I was meant to be traveling. And then I thought of it, I said, what an amazing opportunity to spill the beans and tell all the stories, and let you into the confessions of the auditor. Now, the interesting thing is, before we get into confessions, I have a question for you. To all of you in the room, those of you who love your parents, please raise one hand. Any one hand. Okay? Those of you who want to do something for your parents, please raise the other hand. Right? Gosh, it's wonderful to see everybody in the room raise both their hands. And the thing is, because you love your parents and because parents are so dear to us, we have launched this platform called GenS Life. Right? Now, GenS Life is an app for the 60 plus to build a community for them. And all these tech bros, they walk around with t-shirts with their logos and stuff like that. So I said, you know what? I'm going to be a tech nani. And as a tech nani, I've got my logo on my sari, right? Yeah, so we do things differently. Now, all of you are probably wondering, why am I talking about this? I'm supposed to be confessing stuff and giving you the inside news on auditing and confessions. But you know what? You've just been scammed. You've just been had. You got a taste of what happens with agencies when they sell proprietary media. Right? And as an auditor, for many, many years, we fought against proprietary media because it's selling you something that you may or may not need. Now, the interesting thing is, I have so many anecdotes about audits, being an auditor, but I must confess that ever since I sold the practice to Deloitte, I have not been part of the media business, okay? But at the same time, I must also confess that I set up media audits in the country. So if you have stuff to throw at me, please do. And I'm here to be available to answer questions from advertisers, agencies, and from the media. With that introduction, over to Vikram, who's promised to be really hard on me. And I'm saying, bring it on.
Lovely. We won't have it any other way. Okay, let's go right to the very beginning. After running a media agency, probably Kara was the first proper media independent. So you from there went on to start a media audit. You started Spatial Access.
Right.
Why the switch?
Oh, that's a really lovely story. So what happened is, I talked about proprietary media, right? It was the first IPL. And the first IPL was being sold at a cost of 50,000 per 10 seconds. The channel was selling it at 75,000. One of the biggest buyers, I mean, you all know who I'm talking about, no names to be mentioned, offered it to one of my clients at 50,000 per 10 seconds. And I had negotiated with the agency at 55. And my client was about to sign. They were very happy because the standard rate was 75. I had got 55. And the biggest buyer goes and offers it to my client at 50. Unfortunately for them, they made the mistake of sharing a document with my client, showing that, they had an offer of 50. So I took this up with the media owner. I literally threw the baby, the bath water, the kitchen sink, the bathroom, everything at them. And I got them to agree to give me the rate of 50 for my client. Obviously, the media was very unhappy because that media owner felt I was blackmailing him, which I was, okay, because there was no way I was going to let my client go away from me because of something that was skullduggery. Anyway, cut a long story short, I retained the client, I got my business, but then I discovered something even more interesting. I discovered that this biggest media buyer who was working for the biggest advertiser in the country had actually charged them more than 50. And that's when I realized that, unfortunately for media, they don't control the product. There are agencies who end up controlling prices and who basically do predatory pricing. And that was one of the reasons why I said, this is not fair. And if there's anything you know about me, Vikram, I fight for the underdog. And so that was really the story of how I decided to get into media audits.
Okay, great. So do I take it that price discovery and transparency in pricing was the driver for you to get into audits?
It was price discovery. It was the whole thing of not really using data. Because you see, what happened is both at the agency end and at the client end, too many things ended up becoming relationship driven and not data driven. And so the objective was to try and make it objective.
Okay, and I'm going to now dive a little deeper into that. But after, since it's confession time, after blooding your sword in the media audit space for what, 20 years?
17 years.
17 years. Do you think it was mission accomplished, or did you open up a Pandora's box? Did you find the policeman was as bad or worse than the one they were policing? So tell all. Are you satisfied at the end of 17 years that you made the world a better place?
Well, let's put it this way. In these 17 years that I was there, obviously I was able to get people to start looking at this. I was able to get advertisers to understand that they needed an independent perspective when it came to media. Was I able to clean up the stables? Of course not. But I think I was able to have some amount of success. Media audits, which was, four-letter word when I began, and there was a huge amount of pushback from the industry. It became fairly understood and accepted. So to that extent, yes, I think it was successful 17 years.
Great. Let's just get into one aspect of media audit, and from there, I think that because that's, in a sense, when you're auditing a pitch, it covers a large part of that entire work that we do, quite apart from the normal planning audits and the buying audits that we do. But let's stick to the pitch process. Currently, on the same pricing front, there's a full practice going on right now, and it's been going on for a while, of media auditors sort of resorting to reverse auctions. They come in and say, what is the lowest price you can give? And then they come back and say, you've gone off, you're off our benchmarks by 20, 30, 40% on this particular channel, and so on and so forth. Do you find that as a good practice? Is it a fair practice? Or is it a extortionistic practice?
No, it's complete extortion.
And then,
There's no two ways about
so
it.
then why are people doing it?
Why are people doing it? Because look, I mean, at the end of the day, when you have skullduggery, there is always a victim who's willing to be victimized. I mean, I remember a time when an agency had made a commitment to offer certain price to Reckitt Benckiser, and then came to me and said, can you say that media inflation has been at a higher level because, we've made a commitment. And I was categorical that I'm not going to do that. Because what happens is and look, it's a very complex problem. There are agencies who want the business, who are willing to, make those commitments. There are clients who are willing to be exploitative when it comes to these kind of deals. And let's not forget the media. I mean, at the end of the day, the media very often is willing to drop their pants at a moment's notice. So who do you blame? You can't blame the auditor.
Well, they are the ones who are running the process. And if they are running the process okay, there are a couple of things in this. One is, there's a price benchmarking pool.
Correct.
Now, on average, auditor's price benchmarking pool will always be smaller in size and less current than any large agency group, almost by definition. Whatever pool they also have, large part of it may be pitch promises made, but not actual prices implemented in the market. They are using that to actually form the price floor. That isn't it flawed by very conception? So if a large agency group with a 20 share or a 30 share or even 15 share comes in and says transparently, these are my pricing, average, high, low, and this is where I'm pegging it, how isn't that better than what the auditor can do?
Okay, it's a very different market out there, and you know this. There are certain media owners who favor a certain agency because, they get a lot of support from that agency. There are other media owners who don't favor that agency. So within an agency, to be honest, very often you don't understand what's happening out in the market. And this whole myth about the biggest size gives you the lowest rate is a myth. Okay?
Yes. Yes.
We all agree. We know that. It becomes a sales pitch for bigger players. But in reality, if every bigger player was the only guy who got those rates, the rest of the industry would get out of business, which hasn't happened. So what happens is you actually, by being an auditor, you get a sense of what's operating in the market, and you can build robust benchmarks. Now, the habit of getting pitch rates and putting those into the pool, that is strictly avoidable. And I can tell you, at Spatial Access, we never did that. Pitch rates were nothing but kite flying by agencies to say, I can buy at this rate. In many cases, they actually didn't have those rates. And then once they got the business, they would go back to the media owner and literally beat them up over the head and say, now I've got the business, you've got to give it to me. But it also got to a stage where media owners who knew the way we operated would pick up the phone and tell me, look, you're being quoted as providing this benchmark. And we were not providing that benchmark. So it was one of those things, very often you never knew what was the truth and what was the imagined story.
Okay, but the reality is that we have a person who's running a pitch process. They are the ones who are always coming back to you and saying that if you want to move to the next round, you've got to go lower by this amount. and people in the desperation to get the business actually keep on going down. So that's that reverse auction piece that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Now, in your experience, when the lowest price, for example, gets it, and they're not able to deliver, do you think they get away with it, or is there accountability out there?
See, Vikram, I can't really speak for all the audit companies, but I do know at Spatial Access, every pitch we did, we said planning and strategy is even more important than buying rates. Okay, and you've been part of pitches that Spatial has run, where we were more interested in looking how data was used, how consumer insight was used, and of course, buying is important. But you know, you can buy a kilo of nails when you need screws. And that, to my mind, is the tragedy of the industry that we are in.
And clients listen to you on that?
Clients would always listen to me. I don't think there's a single client who's not given my advice credence.
And
okay?
given effectiveness more importance than
Yeah.
pricing.
Yeah. But
I'd love to believe that.
I must say that, you know, there have been a lot of situations where we've also seen, you know, strange kind of manipulations and strange kind of maneuvering that goes on between the trio, the agency, the client, and the media owner. I've even had pitch consultants asking for a commission on the total business, and they asking for a commission from the agency.
I don't know about that one, but I've also heard about, and I do know, and I've heard this from the client itself, that a lot of media auditors, their entire basis for charging a fee is a fraction of the savings they're able to generate.
No, that's not Spatial Access and not Deloitte.
And you think that's not any of the other firms? Or you wouldn't be knowing
I
about
do know of some firms that do that.
And-
I will not mention their names, but I think that is ridiculous.
So do you think that's a practice that should be banned?
It should be banned, absolutely.
I've also seen cases where there are some auditors, they must be tied in with NDAs, but the pricing which they're getting or in a particular pitch, I've seen them in another pitch talking to their competitor and actually saying that you can get these pricing. Isn't that a conflict of interest?
Of course it is, but then see, every business has people who are not ethical, right? And I mean, there are people who are unethical in the police force, there are people who are unethical in government, in audit, in agencies, in every business. The fact of the matter is that I think all of us who believe in morality and business ethics need to take a stance against them. And if we don't take a stance against this, sometimes you have to pay a price.
No, but who should take it? Is the ball right now in the advertiser's court or in the agency's court? Or
No,
is it self-regulation?
I think the ISA needs to be educated about this. I think the agencies need to come together. And I think the auditors also need to come together and say, look, there are business practices that are not ethical, which should not be supported.
Okay, so just on this point, the 3 years of I and the ISA have had some intense engagement, and we are sort of proposing post every audit, every pitch, a sort of report card or an evaluation for the auditors, which ISA can then come back and give a roster and say that this is the kind of score that various auditors have got. Would you welcome a move like that?
Absolutely. I think transparency is critical. And if the auditors believe that transparency is an important, integral part of the business, I don't see why they should be reluctant to support this.
Fantastic. I think we are out of time, but just in your closing moments, how would you clean up the entire stables if you had to come back and do it all over again? 1, 2, 3 things.
Well, one is I'm willing to offer my time and ability to anybody who wants to use it. 2 is I think we need to build a culture of ethics and integrity across the agency. Okay, today from what I'm hearing and seeing, there's too much skullduggery going on all kinds of things, you know, people getting free tickets, free travel, clients going off for events, you know, very happily taking hospitality from media owners. I think all of those things need to be called out. If what you're doing is not despicable, then you should be happy to have it called out. You know, this channel took 20 people off on a holiday. These are the names of those people. Drive transparency, and I think that's something that we all need to support. And last, so within the agencies, within the culture, that's what we need to do. And last but not the least, I think we need to grow a spine. And yes, I think the entire advertising agency, the entire advertising business needs to grow a spine. It's not only media. I mean, look at creative agencies. The kind of problem they are going through is horrendous. Okay?
On that lovely utopian note, I hope we can get even 5% of there. But thank you, as always, provocative and calling a spade a spade. Thank you so much, Meenakshi.
Thank you.